Erwin Schrödinger was born 12th of August 1887 and is often called the father of quantum physics, one of the most important fields for the development of technology and communication. Unfortunately, most of the fame attributed to him is often through a certain feline, but he had numerous achievements including the Schrödinger equation, colour perception, creation of wave mechanics, and cats. Lots and lots of cats. He was born in Vienna and he was 3/4 Austrian and 1/4 English. He was taught English at home and became very interested in colour and philosophy. His house was religious, but he was a staunch atheist. Despite this, he often used religious symbolism in his work and he believed science was next to godliness. He often questioned the idea of reality too. When World War I broke out, he became an officer in the Austrian artillery. After the war was over, he became a professor in Germany in Stuttgart. He worked all over Europe after that, in Poland, Switzerland, and finally he ended up back in Germany, in Berlin. It was then he developed the brilliance and often scourge of anyone who studies physics, that was the Schrödinger equation, which he developed in hospital. It allowed for oscillators and diatomic molecules to be solved with ease. He won the Nobel Prize for it, together with another pioneer of quantum physics, Paul Dirac. In 1934, disillusioned with Nazism and anti-Semitism claiming Germany, he left for the University of Oxford to work at Magdalen College. His tenancy there was met with scorn. He lived intimately with 2 different women in the same house, including the wife of his former colleague with whom he had a child with. His unconventional ways continued when he fathered another 2 daughters with another 2 women. It cost him his place at Oxford and he decided against going to Princeton for the same reason. He began correspondence with the physicist who was making storms, Albert Einstein. He proposed a Schrödinger's cat thought experiment, in which a cat could be both dead and alive simultaneously, to point out how ridiculous quantum mechanics sounded. Despite success in explaining nature, he didn't like his brainchild too much. New physics was probabilistic. This made him angry. He said he was sorry he had anything to do with it. He returned to Germany and recanted his former opposition to Nazism to get a job back, but it wasn't enough and he was fired for political unreliability. He was harassed by the Nazis and was blocked from leaving the country, so he fled to Italy. From there he went to Ireland and wrote about genetic codes for organisms, years before DNA was discovered, and he also became entranced by philosophy. He studied Hinduism and the nature of consciousness as a force permeating through the universe. He began working on a grand unified theory, but he failed and gave up. Allegedly, he apologized to Einstein for recanting what he said about the Nazis. He didn't put much stock in nuclear energy either, and allegedly rejected the idea of wave-particle duality in his later years. In 1961, he died of tuberculosis and was buried in Alpbach. He is a symbol of the eccentric modern physical ideas that inhabit our world, and has a legacy that stretches from cats to craters to cash.